You are listening to chartingwealth.com for Thursday, the 12th of April, 2018. We see stocks down for the day, bonds and gold up. Let's jump, as we always do, first into the S&P 500 as depicted by SPY, the exchange-traded fund that tracks all the big stocks in the S&P 500 in that index. We see so far for the week, we have a green spinning top. It means indecision tending up. We can see price movement as we finished the day on Wednesday, just over halfway through the week. Hump day, we see that it has pushed above the weekly trend line and, of course, is well above the two-day trend line. We still see the price percent oscillator headed down, derivative oscillator losing downward momentum. And as we go into the two-day chart, dig a little deeper, we see that we're going into our fourth up candlestick, the third up green open box, and this one is the strongest one building so far. It has no down wick, just an up wick, and is the biggest of the three we have so far. Now again, it's just the first day of the latest one. Derivative oscillator continuing to lose downward momentum. Price percent oscillator on the two-day chart heading up, hasn't crossed over yet, so we still have confirmed down moves in the two-day and the weekly. That price movement, of course, on the two-day chart is pushed through. It's well past the two-day and pushed through the weekly so far, halfway through that two-day candle. And as we look at the 4-hour chart, it is still in a confirmed up move, although the derivative oscillator is losing upward momentum. And the price percent oscillator, not quite flat, but appears to be going flat. We see over the course of the day, down movement in the morning, really indecision in the morning, and indecision in the afternoon, tending up, pushing through, however, that weekly trend line. So again, up 0.52% for the day. So we'll keep our eye on things. Like we said, if this starts to roll over on Thursday and Friday, which it hasn't yet, but the derivative oscillator is losing energy, as is the price percent oscillator, might open up an opportunity for a down play. So just keep your eye on the prize. That is where we are on the S&P 500. We'll go back to the weekly chart. Look at QQQ. Again, still in a confirmed down move on the weekly and the two-day. Not as much upward movement on the Qs as we see as far as the indicators go on the S&P from the S&P 500 to the NASDAQ 100, which is what the Qs represent. We see a green up candle pushing on the weekly trend line well above the two-day. Derivative oscillator is about flat, and the price percent oscillator still headed down. Now, as we dig a little deeper into the two-day chart, we can see that it is flat. We're going into our third open box green up candle, and again, that's our strongest up candles. And again, like the S&P 500, we so far, the first day of the latest two-day candle, have a strong up candle on QQQ on the NASDAQ 100. Derivative oscillator, like we said, losing downward momentum. Price percent oscillator is flat. And again, still though confirmed down moves on the weekly and the two-day. We look at the 4-hour, we can see it's strong up movement over the last 2 days. Derivative oscillator at the end of the day lost a little upward momentum again. Things topped out on the derivative oscillator back on the morning of the 6th. As far as the candles go, things topped out back on the morning of the 5th of April. So we see things just now getting up close to parity as to where things popped up to back on the 5th of April. So we'll continue to watch and see if they go above that or if they hit their head. If you look, the last time things got up close to the 200 period moving average on the 4-hour chart, they bounced off that. So we'll see if things push up and then head back down, or if they can push through. That would require them also pushing through the weekly trend line. So we'll wait and see. Again, if things rotate over going down on that 4-hour chart, you do have the potential to jump in to a down move. So we'll just wait and see and practice that if it happens. If it doesn't happen, of course, we won't do it. Why? Because we trend follow. We let price movement and the charts tell us what to do. The charts will never do what we want them to do. They'll do what they're going to do, and we want to do what they're going to do. Okay, let's see. We'll now move on to Treasury bonds, the 20-year TLT. What do we see going on there on the weekly chart? Well, we had that weekly vertical crossover back on the week ending the 29th of March. We had an up week the following week, and so far, weak movement over the course. It's not a solid red down candle, so it doesn't mean solid down movement, but it's a red open box candle. Price movement is trying to hover right around that weekly trend line. Derivative oscillators gaining momentum. Price percent oscillators continuing to head up. So those are good signs on the weekly. Let's dig a little bit deeper. Take a look at the 2-day. We see the first day of the latest 2-day candle. Nice up day, 0.36% up. And again, this is just the first half of the latest 2-day candle. The prior candle had been lots of indecision, tending up with that green doji pretty much. The derivative oscillators losing upward momentum. Price percent oscillator is sliding up, but barely, pretty much a sideways slide. So we'll keep our eye on things. Price movement is above the weekly, below the 2-day, and we'll redraw this 2-day as soon and if we have upward movement. Let's look at the 4-hour chart. It crossed over going up in the morning. Okay, that was a good sign, something we told you to be watching for, which did occur. That occurred in the morning. And of course, that crossover going up gave you a jumping in point. Don't know how many of you were paying attention. We've been talking about that the last few days. And of course, it did give you a potential jumping in point. Hopefully you jumped in the afternoon. We'll see how that goes for you. Remember, the 2 days in an uptrend and the weekly confirmed weekly vertical crossover there 2 weeks ago. So we'll see how that continues to play out. We'll keep an eye on things, and hopefully that'll be a good practice trade for you. Okay, now lastly, we will go, as we always do, to gold. On the weekly chart, gold is trying to cross over with the latest up move, up 0.78% for the day. Gold appears to be crossing over. That will not be confirmed until the weekly chart closes at the end of the day on Friday. And if we do have a confirmed weekly vertical crossover, we will be the first to let you know after the market closes in our comprehensive review and forecast that we record at the end of every market session on Friday. Now, we see that the derivative oscillator is losing downward momentum, which is a good sign. Price percent oscillator looks like it's trying its best to cross over, and it may end the week with that. It can always pull back if there's a big down move. We look at the 2-day chart. We can see, of course, that it crossed over going up. Back on the 10th, it had been really sort of sliding sideways, bouncing. Now, we could slide our 2-day crossover all the way down. Don't really have to because it never technically really crossed over going down. Tried to there around the 2-day candle ending on the 6th. Derivative oscillators gaining upward momentum. Price percent oscillator has bounced off the red signal line, moving up nicely. Now, as we dig in and take a look at the 4-hour chart, what do we see there? Well, of course, it crossed over in the afternoon on, well, pretty much, I guess we'd call it in the morning on Tuesday the 10th. And of course, big up morning for gold on Wednesday the 11th, and then a bit of a pullback in the afternoon. So we'll continue to keep our eye on things. Maybe we will end this week with a weekly vertical crossover going up on gold. Would that not be nice? Remember, gold crossed over going down on that weekly chart back on the 16th. And of course, we never had a jumping in point for gold because it immediately started moving up that following week. So we've just been waiting to see if and when things would cross back over going up and give us a nice trend that we could follow on gold. And we may have that. We may have that on the vertical crossover going up. We shall just wait and see. We'll let you know. Folks, that's where we are as we end the day. On Wednesday, the 11th of April, we go into Thursday, the 12th. You have questions, problems, concerns, we'd love to hear from you. You can write us anytime, cw@chartingwealth.com. And again, please make sure to go to our website and subscribe to our daily market review. You will be the first to get all of the new trainings and everything that we post up there for you. God bless, my friends. All the best from the whole team here at Charting Wealth World Headquarters.